The states are the parents of the government. I don't know if you realize that. The Constitution was the states getting together and saying, okay, we understand you need to be able to do something on our behalf. We have to give you the authorization to do that, so they wrote the Constitution. And that Constitution tells the government what it's required to do, what it may do if it feels like it, and prohibits everything else. It's called the 10th Amendment, and I believe it's the shortest amendment in the Constitution. It's very easy to understand. It says that if the Constitution doesn't delegate, and that's a key word, delegate a power to the government, then the government can't do it. It's reserved to the states or to the people. About 100 years ago, the states got kind of tired of doing their jobs, and they turned over to the federal government a couple of very important responsibilities that should have never been let go. They were the 16th and 17th Amendments, and the 16th Amendment gave the government the power to tax people's incomes. I don't think I'll get a lot of argument that that was a mistake. The second one was turning over to the United States Senate to election by the people. This isn't real popular, but I'll tell you why it's very important and why the founders set up election of senators by state legislatures. The House is supposed to represent the people. They're the people that we send from amongst ourselves. They're ordinary folks that go there for 2 years, and it was decided that 2 years is a good length because a farmer could leave a farm for 2 years, a merchant could leave his shop for 2 years in someone else's hands, and still come back and have a viable business or a viable farm. So they expected ordinary people would rise up, take 2 years out of their lives, and go represent their fellows in Washington. The Senate, on the other hand, represented the states and the states' interests, and they would rightly be selected by the legislatures and sent to Washington, not necessarily to look out on behalf of the people's concerns and the taxes, but to look out for the nation as a whole, long into the future. How is this going to affect future generations? How is it going to affect our region and our state? Senators were elected for 6 years, and it was assumed these would be people who were at the end of their careers, maybe retired farmers, retired merchants, retired doctors and lawyers, who would be able to go to Washington for a long time. When we broke that barrier, when we separated the form of selection of the two branches of the legislature, we caused senators to become nothing more than glorified representatives. They chase after the same populist issues that are of the moment and transient. They beg for the same dollars for campaigns that the House has to. It's not the way it was meant to be. Let's fix those two things. Let's make Missouri the first state to petition Congress for a constitutional convention for the purposes of repealing the 16th and 17th Amendments. And you know, we might be the only state that does it. So what? That will be a profound statement on what we think of taxation and what we think of government growth. And my final jerky transition into veterans, and you know, this is always tough for me. I spent 9 years in the Navy in active duty and then a couple more in the reserves. I was a submariner, which meant I got a lot of sleep and good food. You know, before, don't build up what I did too much. I got the CNM medal for the Persian Gulf War in '91. That was a medal that we all got for watching it on TV. But we used to like to play tricks on people. We'd be underwater for 3 months at a time, and we had a variety of characters on board. And the guys that were guys and gals that have been in the service probably will appreciate this because this is the kind of things that we do to each other. We call it camaraderie. One time we picked this poor kid. He was really nice, but he was a little slow on the uptake, and we decided we were going to play with him for a while. So shortly after we got underway for a 3.5-month patrol, we decided that we were going to get about 30 or 40 people involved, and every time the kid asked a question or said something, the first thing we would do is look at our watches and give him the time. Eventually he'd start wondering, right? Am I asking for the time? What's going on here? Why are they doing this? And we did it, and it actually the captain got wind of it, and he thought it was kind of funny, so he jumped in and gave him the time the first time the kid said something to him, and finally the kid went to the corpsman and snapped, and we had to stop it and apologize and tell him that we were just messing around with him. Every time I hear hope and change, I think they're playing the game on me. Every time I hear cap and trade, I think that this is just coming around to pay me back for my stupid game on that poor kid on the John C. Calhoun. It's all my fault. And I don't remember the guy's name, but man, if you're out there somewhere, forgive me, please. Let's get this over with. All right, well, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I am so happy that I'm not going last this time. Eventually, I want to go first so that I don't have to follow the really good speakers we have here. I want to give special thanks to Randy MacArthur for his stand. When we talk about the people who would leave their lives for 2 years to go off to Washington and represent us, I picture people like Randy. I'd also like to thank the Southern Pacific Railroad for the background music at today's show and for the remarkably timely coal shipment that came through earlier. And I have to give a special thanks to Dana. My family and I have been moving homes the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to do much. Dana has really picked up the ball. Gina, oh my God, the work that they've done is just incredible. So, if you appreciate the opportunity to come out here and vent your frustration and begin your march to freedom, thank them. They're the ones who pulled this together. But most of all, thank you. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for having the courage to stand out from the rest, to stand apart from the mob, to rise above, and to achieve. What you've done by coming here has achieved something that a year ago would have seemed impossible because we weren't doing this then. So let's also thank the people in Washington who gave us the inspiration to get off of our couches and off of our rear ends and away from the football games and come out here on the banks of this beautiful river in this beautiful town on, I don't care what the weather's like, it's a beautiful day in America, to reclaim liberty and to preserve the Republic.